Oop. Good morning, everybody. Dave Finale here, Real Estate Skill Builder, and this is Real Estate Talk TGIF. It is episode 222. That's right, 222. Years ago, no one will remember, but there was a TV show called Room 222. This is not that. That was about school. This is 219 weeks in a row of doing this broadcast, and I only have the greats on, and today I have another great, right? I have Brian Danney here with me from San Diego, California. We're the original member of the Beer Home team, which is one of the top teams in the country, top EXP team. And we're going to really get into a lot of fun here in a couple of minutes. Thanks for coming, Brian. We're going to be right back and get started really heavy duty in a conversation about a lot of things. And so glad you're here. We'll be right back with a quick video intro and we're coming back.
Real estate agent, are you looking to acquire clients consistently so you can grow your business and your income to live a great lifestyle? This is Dave Finale and the RE Skill Builder Podcast.
Hello, everybody. We're so happy to be here. I am in a different location today, broadcasting from Rogers, Arkansas at a great event here with the great Grant Wise. And Brian, hey, man, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to pick up our conversation. It's been a lot of fun. Getting to know you over the past year or so. So thank you for having me on your show here.
Oh man, you're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, like I said, another great. I mean, you've gone at different parts of life and growing up, as far as growing up in real estate, et cetera. And it's just a pleasure. I've been so fortunate, Brian, to be able to have greats and meet greats through events. I mean, you at an event we met and I had Sunit on last week. That was really cool. And I get to meet a lot of great people, right? Keith Pike is here at this event, so I'll get to meet him later. The number
Awesome
one
guy.
Team in the world, right?
Yeah.
Remax team. So anyway, I have a question for you before we get started. And that question is really simple. And not many people get this right. What does TGIF stand for?
Thank goodness it's Friday here.
Well, you know what? I love you, man, but that's not correct.
Yeah,
Okay?
I know.
It's thank God it's finale. Right.
I love it. I love it.
It has to be Dave Finale. And you know what? It's been that way for 219 weeks in a row. Anyway, hey man, let's just jump right into it. You know, man, it's just really interesting to talk to you about schedule, to talk to you about a lot of things. But first, I want to hear about where you came from and how you got to where you are today, as far as your career, real estate, etc.
Yeah, my story is incredibly significant to why I'm standing today. It's something I love sharing. So it actually started, believe it or not, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life right out of college and did a little bit of PR, worked for PlayStation, etc. Worked with music. I'm a big music guy. And I found my way. Fortunately, I stumbled into real estate on the commercial side. My parents were relocating from the East Coast and we're looking for some commercial space. My father's a dentist in the Palm Springs area here. And I'm like, you know what? I'll piggyback this. I was in LA at the time. I wanted to join him. And I ended up staying with him on his tour through commercial. And I was in that moment in my life where I was either going to turn right or left. And after that visit, I decided real estate was my jam. The commercial agent who showed us the space inspired me to basically get my license and join and do the commercial side of things. It's funny. I had a preconceived notion. I thought that I had to be, the only way to be professional was to be a commercial agent. I don't know why I thought that. So that way I was working Monday through Friday. I wasn't interrupting my weekends. Who wants to work weekends? Fast forward about a month or two later, I'm in commercial and I lined myself with a mentor. And my mentor helps me get going. I understand the routine I need. I understand the door knocking to get my business lifted. And I got a lot of momentum going. And lo and behold, I have this shopping center on a street called Miramar Road. It's like a home improvement corridor. And I'm asked to lease the whole thing up. There's about 6 or 7 vacancies. About 3-4 months later, I got the whole thing leased up. The owner of the shopping center was so thrilled. He said, you know what? Try to sell it. I found the buyer, found the seller. And then my mentor at the time tapped me on the shoulder and said, you know what, I got it from here. Thank you so much for the help. I actually had to step away from the deal. So that left a very weird taste in my mouth. A lot of who I am today is because of the people that influenced me, the people, the leaders that I looked up to, and not all of them are good. And this one was not good, but it showed me the type of person I wanted to be and who I wanted to surround myself with, which really accelerated me in the right direction. So I started it all over again in commercial. And this time, 6 months later, I found another shopping center. I was gonna actually sell the whole thing, but they decided they wanted to lease it. So I find 12, it was somewhere between 12 or 15 tenants. And we got this thing going, and I had 6 figures commission come my way. And then I find out my company was going bankrupt, and all the commissions that I had thought I earned were lost in bankruptcy court.
Oh, crap.
So when that happens, guess what? Here's my defining moment. I'm in my garage trying to figure out, oh my God, how did I put myself in this situation? I had $1 to my name. My wife, Lauren, looks at me and just says, Brian, what happened? How are we doing this? How did we get here? I remember putting tags in my garage on my electronics, my equipment, my everything I had of value just to make ends meet, because I literally had $1 to my name.
Wow.
And I was deciding whether I wanted to work for the city of San Diego in the assets department, had an opportunity there, or get out of real estate, which was a tough thing for me to do. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that I wanted to be in real estate, but it didn't work. So when I was in the midst of making a decision, I met a farmer's market, and I see this character on a bicycle with like a loaf of bread in his basket, filled the whole thing up with vegetables. And I'm like, is that? It is. It's my friend Dan from college. We went to Syracuse University in college, and we lost touch. And he said, Brian, what are you doing? I told him what I had been doing, what I was contemplating. He's like, you know, I'm starting a team. I'd love to do this thing with you. Everybody told me not to do it. Actually, everybody. It already failed you once. Why do it again, right? So sometimes you just got to go with your intuition, and against what everybody thought was the best thing for me. Fast forward almost 10 years later, we've grown from 2 to 84 people on the team. We sell over 700 homes a year, and I've had a bigger life than I could ever imagine. So I'm just really fortunate for that opportunity, and actually the leader and the agent I have become through this whole process, just learning through failures, which then lead to success. So.
Yeah, I mean, every failure is a stepping stone. It's like you have to climb the ladder to get there, right? You see all these things. So you've developed a lot of things, and I've heard you speak before, and I've seen you and I've read about you, and seen one of the things you talk about is your schedule, right? And truth be told, Brian, I'm gonna tell you that I am an online thief, right? So I actually have here a screenshot of your schedule. That's your schedule, right? So I want you to talk about, I mean, look, I think that the base to success in our business especially is being disciplined to this thing, right? I think it's completely, totally all about discipline. You need focus to go along with that. You need to be able to climb that ladder, so to speak. Talk to me about your schedule and what it's meant to you in your business.
Yeah. It's the foundation for everything, truly. And it begins from your environment that you're going to work in, because you need to be inspired. You need to be reminded.
Right.
And you need to, I mean, I view my calendar, it's my accountability partner. There's no better accountability partner than what I put in writing on my calendar, that I know that if I do not accomplish this, if I don't do it, I'm failing myself. It keeps me accountable. Plus it's public. So I let my entire team know about it. They know where I am. They know if I didn't do it. It's a special tool. But the environment, I want to go back there for a minute, because a lot of us have stories, and sometimes it's financial. Sometimes it's a situation. Sometimes it's a relationship, whatever it is. We all have a story, and there's a reason why we're in the seat we're in, and there's a reason why we're pushing forward. There's a reason why we're in this business. And we better internalize, understand why, because without understanding that and understanding what it looked like before and what it's going to look like after, it doesn't happen, because you have to commit yourself. I surround myself with a check that I have that I get every now and then for $1 from the company I used to work for, is trying to pay me back on something that I went through. So that reminds me of my moment in my garage. that I don't want to revisit. And some of us like haven't had a chance to internalize. So you have to put yourself in a situation, an environment that's going to remind you of that. My calendar, I keep it simple. I have routines. I have a morning routine. I have an evening routine. And I just want to commit 4 hours a day to something that's going to move the needle in my business. And I don't get interrupted with appointments. I'm booking appointments. I'm building my business. I'm building my pipeline. I'm doing the follow-up. I'm doing anybody closed loss that I'm working through. I'm sending my videos to people to try to convert. I'm sharpening my skill set with my role play. I have a quick 15-minute with my team, just talk about stuff so I understand. I do a 15-minute research on the MLS. My MLS is my news feed. That is my narrative. That is what the story I'm going to tell for that day or for the week. And I need to figure out how to support my stories with numbers, facts, and figures. And I do that by the MLS. So I'm really strategic on how I do it. And Dave, I wish I had a sexy thing to I've just been doing the same thing for 10 years and it's worked well, and why change? And I understand what it does. I actually get so much time back because of how much time I commit and how disciplined I am in my morning.
So I want you to say that again. You get time. Say that again.
I get so much time back in my life because of what I'm putting in and staying consistent. I love living in boredom. I talk about it all the time. I love living in boredom because I know the only way to get bored is because you're just doing it so goddamn often that there's no other way to do it. And that's how I find mastery, is to stay bored with something because it's so familiar. Whenever I'm away, I'm on a family vacation, and it does happen. Okay. I try to limit it, but as far as when, and I try to find the right times, but when I go away and missing role play, it's so uncomfortable and so unfamiliar because I'm doing it so often. I hate it. I want to be there. I want to prospect. So,
I mean, it's like you get the shakes. You can't do it.
Right? I do. I'm going through withdrawal. The thing I'll tell you though is, I'm looking at my calendar on my other screen here, but the thing that I love about it, it's not comfortable. I don't love prospecting, but I know that it's needed for my business. And here's the truth of the matter. If we're not open to change, if we're not open to being vulnerable, if we're not open to being in discomfort, you're in the wrong business, because we're constantly evolving.
What's really cool is that it's taken me a while to really be able to hone in on who I help the best, who I can help the best in real estate skill builder coach and the team I'm growing, right? So who I help the best are the new agents and stuck agents mostly, and people that want to grow, right? From 5 million to 10, from 10 to 20, et cetera. And the calendar, the schedule is, I find, the hardest thing for people to adapt to and to actually implement. It's like, how did you do? Because to me, in another way of saying what you just said, is your calendar, those 4 hours, it's your commitment. It's what you've committed to, right? Mm-hmm. And I find myself always saying different sayings and comments that we both know very, very well. Like, a goal is a hope and a dream. A commitment is measured by results, right? So your commitment that you do it every day. So I work with a lot of newer agents, as I said, and my objective to them is really simple. I want them to commit to their calendar. And when I ask them about their commitment, when they say, well, I know that they haven't done it. So, I know that I need to push in that area. And I use you as an example a lot now because of your calendar, because of how you say it. And I want everybody to maybe rewind this video when they watch it, and just to see that it's everything, and that you're bored sometimes, and this, that, and the other thing. You mentioned earlier the word environment. Talk to me about how your environment contributes or has contributed to where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything from internal to my office that I'm in right now. It's everything for the people that I surround myself with. My environment here in the office, I come to the same place to work. And by the way, I do it in my office. And by no coincidence, those that show up at the office and actually they put on their uniform and they get ready to work and they're ready to go. they're the ones that are the most successful. It's the ones that are in and out, weaving in and out of the business, and that aren't setting themselves up for success. I have little things. I have the books I read every year on my desk. I have my board. Yes, I have a CRM, but I'm a visual person. I have my board of who I need to focus on. I make with my hot prospects, people ready to go. I make sure I have 3 conversations with them every single week. Not these are conversations. These aren't just follow-ups with email, text, or video. These are actual conversations. So I do check marks. I'm very visual. I have my check I mentioned. This is the thing that keeps me going. I have my why with my family on my desk surrounded. When I talked about that moment in my garage, it was Lauren and I. Now it's 4 of us. It's Dylan, it's Noah, it's myself, it's Lauren. I have 2 other human beings I'm responsible for. So I need that. And then the biggest thing is I have my business plan.
Sorry, someone just walked in that I hadn't seen in a long time.
I love it. I have my business plan, and it's laminated on my desk, reminding me what I need to do each quarter.
Right.
And also, I keep track of what my conversion has been for the day. So there's just a lot there. I have more, but whatever I need to amp me up, get me ready, get me organized, and have readily accessible to myself when I'm in a conversation, including possibly a disc profile if I need it. It's laminated. I have it right here. So I'm ready to go.
So Brian, I want to talk a little bit. I've scrolled on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted.
Yeah, I was just going to say in my environment, my external environment, the energy in the office, when all these agents are on the sales floor, I mean, we're all competitors. Having the opportunity to listen to people that are going to push your business and figure out how to do things better. The biggest mistake most people have is that they don't check their ego at the door. They carry it with them, and then they don't listen. They're not coachable. They don't do any of that stuff. You have to be open to it. So, and that comes with your environment.
So I want to go a little deep on your board. Okay. We talk about environment, and we're talking about, you have environment always wins. It's always been a favorite saying of mine. And we've got that, just change the scroll, but talk to me about your board and what you have on there, being a visual person, because I know, we can talk about this till we're blue in the face, and we can send people the example of it. But let's talk about the visuals that you've got on your board. Talk to me what's on there and how it works for you.
Yeah. And by the way, people are seeing that calendar and they're seeing there's empty space. I meant to point this out.
Yes.
Because of my 4 hours are so dedicated, that time is available for me to do whatever I want. So I know people are seeing that I see blank, but that's why I have it open. So right there. Yeah. That is the day is my oyster. I can do whatever I want. The blue are my routines and the green is my 4 hours. So, right here on my board, I mean, I track my numbers so I understand where I'm at for the year. A lot of people just say, I want 50 transactions for the year, and they just throw a number out there. They don't even know how they're going to get there.
Right.
So back in the day in our old office, I knew that I had to figure out my numbers, my metrics, what I converted faster. And yes, it evolves over time as new leads and new sourcing comes in. But I need to figure out what I'm best at and how many conversations I need to have that are actually going to land me a closed deal. So I track that stuff on my board here. I have it broken down on what I'm going to do for my quarter. I have it broken down on what I'm going to do each month. I have it broken down on what my listings are that are active, my coming soons, my hot prospects. Those are people that I just told you I'm having conversations with. By the way, I'm a big believer in less is more. I used to have 100 people that I used to follow up with who were buying in anywhere from 30 to 45 to 60 to, 90 days. What the heck was I doing? 100 people. If you think about it, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. I'm just like hoarding leads, thinking that they're mine, and that I knew everybody's search criteria and I had to follow up with them every week. It's such BS. I want no more than 12. So right now I have 4 on my board because I just put a few in escrow because I was able to focus on them and be so due diligent, and they know they're not looking over their shoulder for the next agent to have a conversation with, because I'm so obsessed with them and their search because I have so little. So I have it on my board.
So, okay. So you believe to work with 12 top prospects. Is that what it is? Your top prospects? 12
buying in the next 30 days. Yes.
Awesome. So how do you keep putting people on that? Do you always keep 12 on that?
Right now I have 4 because I just emptied that and was able to convert. But yeah, I mean, I go up to about 12 sometimes. I won't let myself go to 20. So I'm firm on that. But also, people that say they're ready now aren't really ready. And there's things that I use, there's mechanics that I use and tactics that I use to actually qualify if someone really is a 30 day purchase, a now purchase, or a 60-day. And that helps me. So how I find someone,
Yeah.
I have this thing where I need to understand, well, two things. One is I work with people that exclusively agree to work with me. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is, and I'm just firm on that, I've developed that. I actually started its second year. I just started doing it immediately. I started with a loyalty agreement. Now I have a representation agreement. I flirt with both, but I need their agreement, their commitment, 100%. The second thing is, and this is the issue when I had top 100, is that I didn't understand what people are looking for. How many of us are constantly, I think this is what they want, but I'm not sure. And if I put this in front of them, Hail Mary, maybe it'll work. Maybe I need to understand in writing what they want. So I do this thing called a top 5 must have. So I have to establish what everybody on my hot prospects list want. I keep them accountable. After I identify after our first conversation, here are the 5 things you said you want. And I just want you to reply back and say, yes, Brian, this is what I want. So that way, when we're going seeing homes, this is my qualifier. This is me to get them the right offers much quicker because, guys, home run. It just hit everything you wanted. They sent me an email saying this is what they want. Now, so I have to understand what those 5 things are.
Right.
If it changes over time, which is, sometimes we do our due diligence and people go through discovery and they have to make a change to their search. Great. I make the change. I resend that to them. I get their recommitment on it. So I keep them accountable. They have to be accountable to me if I'm going to be accountable to them. That's just the way it works. And then if this just happens 6 or 7 times and I know that they're just really not a buyer, I'm moving them to a nurture status. Doesn't mean I'm not going to work with them. It's just they're not my hot prospect because they're just really not clear on what they want. It's obvious at that point.
So I want everybody to, again, I want you to go back, rewind 3 minutes and watch this piece again because it defines who your hot prospects really are. And that is a problem where time wasting comes in. And this allows you to have that blank time at the end of at the afternoon, right? And also, what you basically have done with your board, you talk 3 months, a month, a week, whatever. You've actually taken the phrase reverse engineering and made the visual with clients and customers.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Right? So you know exactly what your numbers got to be, where you're going to, what your goals, and with that, it gives you the visual of commitment. That is, to me, we can write this stuff down like numbers, right? How many calls does it take to get a contact? How many contacts does it take to get an appointment? How many appointments does it take to get a listing? And how many listings or how many buyers does it take to get a closing? We can have all those numbers in our head and written down, but you've taken visualization to another point where you're actually doing it with people.
And I'm predicting my life because of it. I'm predicting the outcome of my life. I know what I need to do. If this is really my goal. Is I have to break it down because I have enough trial with all we need is really, if that 90 days to understand what our metrics are. That's truly it. And it's going to get better. Yeah. You need
90 days to understand your metrics.
A minimum of 90 days to really understand your metrics.
Okay.
You can't find your metrics in 2 weeks. It just doesn't happen.
So anybody that says, well, I tried making calling for sale by owners. I tried calling these leads and the phone just didn't work. How long did you do it for? I did it for a week and it didn't work. That's not a good sample. Yeah. I mean, I use the 90-day thing as well.
Yeah.
And also, would you agree that with those 90 days, it also puts you in your own little environment, your own little head that builds momentum?
100%. We live off of momentum. Here's what I'll tell you. If we're trying to figure out how to get our 4 hours, don't live in overwhelm. Just start with 2, but stay committed.
That's exactly.
Stay committed there.
Right.
And then you can push the boundaries. Then you can push up. I'm saying a minimum of 4. Some days I'm in it for 6 hours if I want, some days, but I want a minimum of 4 hours. You got to start somewhere. And sometimes people are, the reason why they aren't successful is because they haven't built the tolerance. They don't have momentum. The word that you just used, you need that rhythm. It's everything in this business. And, we have to live and we have to feel like we're getting a win. So if 2 hours allows you to feel like you're getting a win, awesome. Keep doing that. Add 30 minutes, then add another 30 minutes. Then There you go.
So everybody, we talk about, you know, a discipline, and the discipline cannot start. Like I use the example. I remember years ago when I had my brokerage, I had this new agent start, and you know, we started getting into different things, and he was listening. And at a brokerage, you know, to have someone that actually is buying into what you're doing is a great thing, you know. So he wanted to make 200 calls a day. And I said, okay, I'll support you, whatever you need, you know, whatever you want, the mojo thing, I'll split the cost with you, you know, the whole thing. Cause you know, he's dedicated and says he's disciplined, but I know what was going to happen. And I needed to do this. 200 calls a day. He worked his ass off getting 200 calls that first day. The next day he didn't hit 200. The day after that, he didn't even get close to that number he hit the next day. I believe what happened was that he bit off more than he can chew, and it's just like the success factor wasn't there. And when you talk about, hey, you know, it's 4 hours, you should, well, start at 2, you know, then add some time, right? Would you agree? You got to start small.
100%. No, I mean, I'm a big advocate for that. Like I just said, you need that rhythm, you need that confidence. You know, sometimes when you're prospecting, by the way, or whatever it is that you're choosing to do, whether it be flying or go through your closed lost opportunities, you get a lot of no's. But I mean, that's just the nature of it. Why don't you go for the no, celebrate the no, because you get closer to yes, build that confidence, and it'll be a lot easier to bite off of more what you can chew. The other thing that I did, Dave, that's big when I started was I just gave myself a measurable of how many conversations do I really want in a day. So I've been using the 20 mark for a conversation with prospects every day. And there were days openly earlier in my career where I was just in the office till 8:30 at night. I couldn't get those last 2. But I was very much into my mindset and like, okay, well, if I just say, okay, I only got 18 today and that I'm just going to call it a day, and you know, I'm going to go back tomorrow. And what happens if I get 17? I'm going to say it's okay again. No, I'm not. So like, I knew just through my pain that I couldn't let myself go there.
Right.
What did I do? I went to Carl Strauss, a local brewery over here, and I had 2 more conversations. I got my 20, but new people that I've never spoken to before. So like, you can find ways. It's the same thing. Like the biggest thing that gets in the way of newer agents and even seasoned agents is their calendar. They get a shiny object that comes floating in at 9 o'clock in the morning. I want to go see this house, call it a $500,000 home. I want to go see this house at 10 o'clock tomorrow. You look at your calendar, you're like, that's prospecting, but it's okay because it's just one time. Okay. Well, you just compromise your calendar, your 4 hours. You're going to tell yourself you're going to get that hour back from the showing later in the afternoon. I'm sure you are. But what happens on the next Tuesday and the next Friday? You're going to do it again because you just told yourself you can do it, that it's okay. I'm asked to golf constantly in the morning, every morning. And I wish I could. I can't. I don't want to. I'll golf in the afternoon because my afternoon's free. But my morning is sacred, and I will not compromise that. I just can't do it.
So this is what is so important to anybody starting in this business and any business really. So I need to ask you this, okay? You talked about that shiny object, that phone call, right? Yeah. So I know how hard it is because it happens to me every day, right? Just during this broadcast, I've got notifications coming up. I've got my phone dinging. And I do it because I have my phone on because I'm making sure that this broadcast is working, right? And it's broadcasting and everything. So that's why it's on. Typically, I try to shut things off when I'm going, but I know if I'm working on a project, okay, Brian sent me an email that had an attachment that I need for this project. I go over to my email and all of a sudden, look at the email I got, squirrel, there I am. Yeah. The biggest problem that we all have, and I just explained what it happens to me is the discipline and the focus. Brian, where did your focus come from? And how do you suggest other people get it so they stay away from the big D word, distraction? Yeah, I have a lot of good tips here, and something that I'm still trying to perfect. By the way, I have ADD. I am like that squirrel. I hear something, I'm moving around. I've been this way since I was a kid. So first of all, a trick that I use, let me give you something basic real quick, easy thing. I use this thing called Focus on my iPhone. It allows me to weave in and out of whatever applications I wanted. It actually turned it on right before this.
I don't want to be distracted. Nobody can interrupt me. No calls can come in. And I can't go into social media if I don't want to. You can block out anything that's a distraction for you when you want to stay focused. It's a beautiful tool. It's also part of our distraction, by the way, but you can actually contain it if you want. So there's this thing called focus. If I'm getting urgent messages, I have automated text messages. I just hit, I'm in a meeting. We'll get back to you after 12, after 12, after 12. I just hit that in the event. And sometimes if the focus will actually just automatically do that, I can set that to do it. Here's the big thing that makes the difference is my evening routines. You talked about how you had to get into your email. If I was prepared the night before, because that's what I do in my evening routine is I just look at my day, I figure out what I need to do so I know how to navigate and I can have a freaking successful day, that it's keeping me focused, keeping me on task. Then that's the biggest win I can possibly have. So if you know there's an email you need to get to, I'll get that thing prepared the evening before. I'll figure out who I'm calling the day before, what agents I'm going to send videos to the day before, so I'm not scrambling. What sellers are going to do easy CMAs to. I'm going to do all that the day before. I'm organized. That is my preparation. And a lot of us, yes, that's a big part of the evening routine. It's also the reset button.
Right.
And no one ever talks about the evening routine, which is just ridiculous, but that's the thing that gets you going for the next day. That's the thing that gives you enough to get through the week and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Exactly. And it's the focus, the preparation. Now, a lot of people lose a lot of time in their focus, in their preparation, because, okay, so I'm going to call a FSBO. And they all think, and this is my opinion, how I do things. They all think they need to know all about that house before they make the call. My opinion is you don't need to know about anything. You just need to know how you're going to help that person. And the way you do that is, talking to them and having a conversation with them and build the relationship with them on the phone.
Yes.
And you're building a relationship with them on the phone. Yes, they're giving you information, but it's all about building a relationship. So you don't need to know about that FSBO. You don't need to know about that expired, just that it expired. Would you agree with that?
100%. What's their why? What's their motivation? What's their pain? What did they go through? Know about your process. Know about your menu. Know what
100%,
making
yes.
you the difference maker. That's the conversation. Okay.
Right.
Now you can have a gist of an idea if you're just doing your market research a couple times a week of where the market is in that particular neighborhood, because you'll be fine. All you need to do is, if you know the county information, you'll be good, but know yourself, know the reason. That's where you dig in. I mean, that's where you truly dig in. And these expireds have a lot of pain. They went through a lot.
Exactly. And I've shown it several times. I'm going to show it one more time in a minute. Your schedule, right? And you do your preparation for the next day, the night before. And I know you said that, and I'm being repetitive on purpose, right? And a lot of things that I'll do, and I'll do it on purpose. And that's what we need to live our lives by. So when I show this thing, right, and anybody can only see is the colors, right? But they see the big white space. And you say, you know what? If I want to play golf, I'm going to play golf in the afternoon.
Right.
Or I want to hang out, or I got an errand to run. I have no problem. You feel free and clear because you've done your job for the day. Now, I will tell you that I believe that new agents, as they move forward and say they didn't get as much done as they want, you know what? I got an hour here. I should either go preview homes, or you know what? Let me make a few more calls. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Here's another thing that actually, this is real. This is fact. Last year, in the month of it was the month of July, I was in San Diego, I don't know, maybe 4 days in the entire month. I had my best month ever. I sold 14 homes. That was also because I was fortunate where I do have leverage here. But typically when someone goes away for that long, it's like, okay, we got to do business again, right? Well, guess what happened in August? I sold 11 because my 4 hours are important. Just because I went away and because I was doing things so consistently, it gives me time. Like, just because I did have some personal time. By the way, I went away for my 40th. There was reasons. I went to a speaking engagement. I did a few things that kept me out, work-related, personal-related, sold a lot, use of leverage, understanding when to let go of the reins. But because of my calendar, this is the point I want to drive on, because of my calendar in those 4 hours, just because I was away, and by the way, that ate me up. You have no idea. but because of those 4 hours, I was able to keep it going in August and September. This thing is so powerful. It's not just about now. It's about a month from now. It's about the quarter. It's about everything. This consistency is, you just have to embrace it. You have to understand. But that's why it always comes back to that story. You have to understand why you're doing it, because without that buy-in, there's just no freaking way it's ever going to happen. You have to figure out the reason behind it. You just talked about expires. If you don't know your own story, how the heck are you going to identify somebody else's?
Right.
And you need to identify their story. It's all about understanding everybody's story, their pain, the reason. You need to figure out yours.
Right. Right. And you know, it's amazing when we talk about these things, and I want to talk about leverage. I want to talk about because of your calendar. And I want everyone to understand, as a saying that Tony Robbins uses, and I hear a lot from Bill Pipes, and I hear it from now everybody, and I'm going to use it: success leaves clues. So let's talk about today, and let's talk about last week. Last week I had Suneet Agarwal on, and he talked about he was in Europe with his wife for 2 weeks and never opened his laptop, right? You went away in July and were around for 4 days and you sold 14 homes, right? Success leaves clues. Why were you able to do that? It's because you've utilized your calendar to be in a position to utilize the leverage that it has given you through time. Look, I tell everybody, nothing happens overnight, right? It all takes time. And that's why we said, you know, if you're going to start doing this in the morning, I mean, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 30 minutes, maybe it's one conversation to 2 to 3 to 4, and then you build up to the 20. But 20 is the magic number, I believe, right? And as you move forward, you're going to be able to say, okay, so I don't want to do this. Let me get someone else to do it. That's called leverage. And your business, your showing assistance, and all the different things that you use in your business allowed you to do that. Now, I'm getting to a point here, and the point is that you prepare the night before, but there's also something on your schedule that I really want to get to that is really, really important. You not only have your morning scheduled, but you have your night scheduled. Can you share with us what this part down here says? I mean, I know what it says. And I want you to explain it and how important it is and what it's meant to you in your life, your leverage, and your business.
Yeah. So I need to read. So my evening routine is really getting prepared. Well, actually, the first thing I do is I want to make sure, it's so important to me, that I have a workout in the morning. I want a second workout, or I want to walk with my wife. I want to catch up. I want to know what's going on. I want to see the kids for a little bit. I need some family time. After a long day, I need that. That's sacred. It's in my evening routine. I need it. I do everything in my power to make sure that is not interrupted. It is really important. And I need to be there for my kids. I want to see them before they go to bed. So I have that. Have my second workout. I walk with Lauren. We catch up on the day. And then I read or I podcast, because I'm always improving. I'm still doing that in the morning. That's a tough one for me to actually internalize when I'm reading. My reading in the morning is actually better, because that's when I can really digest what it is that I'm turning on each page. So I typically gravitate to more of a podcast. But I'm preparing my next day. Like I just said, I am outlining. Does a quarterback just go to Sunday without any preparation?
No.
Absolutely not. He does not.
No.
He looks at his playbook. I'm looking at my playbook to figure out what I need to do for the next day. That's exactly what it is. Who am I calling? Okay, here's my script. I got it. I'm ready to go. I'm building my confidence. I'm building my momentum. I know exactly what I'm going to do, so I can just glide right through the next day. It's so big. I'm also going to bed no later than 9:30. I need rest.
That's right.
You know, that's important. I need to make sure that I have enough, because guess what? My morning routine starts at 5:30. I need to make sure that I'm up for that and I have energy and I'm not exhausted. I'm really big on all of that. So the evening routine is huge. It is what allows you to get through a Monday through Friday, even Monday through Sunday. I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes, we're working weekend too, and probably being busier on the weekend. So, but that's the key is understanding what routine you have. And I'm not telling you mine is yours.
Right.
You figure out what makes you go. The one thing I will tell you is there needs to be some form of preparation for the next day, 100%. And there needs to be a reset, whether it's you watching TV, sports for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, do that. That's good for you. Right. You need a reset. I'm not telling you not to do that. That's huge.
Yeah. And you know, what's important is that the family time, the personal time. I always ask people a question. It's always the same. The question is, what's more important out of these three things? Personal, family, or business? And most times, 90% of the time, people will say family. And I say, yes, but it's actually personal. And what I mean by that is, have you ever said to yourself, if I only had 5 minutes to myself, things would be different? Hey, you know what? Your morning time, your morning ritual, my morning ritual, that's my time. Yeah. That's where I get that respite. And that's where I get, I know I'm getting ready for the day. I'm taking that deep breath. And you also take one at night too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. And I was going to say, if it's important to you and you need those 5 minutes, put it in your freaking calendar. Put it in your calendar. Keep yourself accountable. I have when I shower in my calendar. I have when I'm eating breakfast in my calendar. It's all by design, by the way. Like, I want to make sure I'm keeping myself accountable, that it continues to reinforce these things that I need in my life. The other thing is, we talked about leverage a moment ago. Everything I do this is with intention. If I'm having someone book me, I have inside sales department. Okay. And I book a lot of my own appointments, but if I'm fortunate to have something booked for me, I want to make it easy for the people that are booking it. So they'll see my calendar. They can go right in and know exactly where to go, because where I say I am is where I am. I make it easy for them. It's so important.
Wow, man, this is the different pieces of where you came from, going to the schedule and knowing that what you had to do to be successful, the reverse engineering of metrics, going through certain timeframes, the board, and everything, talking about the different parts of your day are just imagine. And there's a lot of people out there that say, you know what, I don't want to make calls, or I'm good on social media, or I can use that and it's giving me business. What do you say to that kind of thing? What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, being complacent in this business, I said it earlier, you can, by all means, yes, but if you're looking to grow your business, it's not going to get you there, period. The easy way out, social media, you have to be uncomfortable. You just have to. 10 years, I'm still uncomfortable doing what I'm doing if you want to grow, because growth happens when you're in discomfort. I said that earlier. So yes, you can lean into the social media, but you know what? The market's changed. So what's going to happen if you aren't good with just the tactical stuff on a phone? If that isn't working for you,
right,
you have to have a safety net, and you also have to have some diversity in where it is that you're getting lead source, because I've been in this long enough to know that, there's good months and bad months. But if you just are staying routine and staying consistent and dipping in and out of a few different ones, you need a minimum of 3 to 4, then you're going to be fine. But to put all your eggs in one basket in one source, social media, that's not a wise decision.
Well, so let me ask you this. Well, I'll play devil's advocate here. So I've got a good social media presence. I get a couple of deals off it every year. Why can't I just hire someone to make the calls for me?
What's going to happen when you're in a real conversation and you need to know how to pivot? You need to understand, by the way, the conversion on someone else, for the most part, showing up and working with you, it's just a different experience. But you need to sharpen your tool set. You need to understand the narrative. How can you be a credible agent having someone else make the calls for you, not understanding pain, not being in the trenches, right? Not being in the trenches in conversion. And don't you want to be in control of your own destiny? That's my thing. I want to be in control of my own destiny, where I'm going, what I'm doing. There's something so powerful with continuing to practice scripts,
right?
And also it gives you authority out of the gate. And what happens when you have authority? What happens when you're enthusiastic out of the gate? What happens when you're sharp as a tack out of the gate? It makes the whole experience way easier. So yes, you could have someone make calls for you. The conversion will be much different. And secondly, I don't know what type of, it's not the industry we're in. Truly.
Okay.
It's just not.
All right. Let's go one more place.
Yeah.
We talked about leverage. Okay.
Yeah.
And leverage basically starts with, as you start building your business, I talk to agents about spending $0, and let's ramp it up as we go along. 0 to 60, right? It could take you a month, it could take you a year, it could take you 5 years, who knows? But when do you know, or what do you have to do in order to either quote unquote hire that leverage or build leverage into your business? What is this? Is there a secret there?
I love this one, and I can spend another hour or so on it. I'm so in love with leverage and understanding it. And by the way, I've gotten so much better, but over the years, I have been a control freak. I'm very specific on what I like and the way I understand things need to be. And it's hard letting go of the reins. Okay. Here's an exercise I did that changed everything. It's called an elevate and delegate. I figured out what I'm great at that I love to do, what I am great at that I like to do, what I'm good at and I hate to do, and what I hate and I don't want to do. And then I figured out where I can piece off leverage, right? So if I'm passionate about something, then I understand the things that I like to do. So openly, something that I am not in love with was showing. I discovered that in the first year of my business. Dan and I put our heads together and we created a showing partner piece of leverage. So we have showing partners now. It works beautifully. And that's something I lean into. By the way, we don't need to have like a showing partner. And inside sales, I mentioned earlier, is a piece of leverage. Operations, letting go of the file and letting them tag me back in when I need to negotiate something is an ounce of leverage. There's two pieces here. One is in marketing, by the way. We have marketing on Beer Home Team. I don't do any of that. Yes, I post stories on my social media, but we do marketing on our teams. That's leverage I don't have to worry about.
Right.
Most people are like, oh, you know what? I open up a new escrow. I'm gonna do it my way, and then they just stay in their file. And well, what happens? They're not. Why are they not allowing somebody that they hired, like a TC or somebody in operations, to help them with the transaction? This is if somebody has that leverage, and that's preventing them from prospecting. That's weaving them in for more distraction in the morning, which is BS. Have somebody else do that. Have somebody else put out the fires. Yes, we're there for negotiation pieces and everything else. The other thing I want to tell you too is we all have leverage around us. And it doesn't matter if you're a solo agent, if you're on a team, if you're not. We have escrow, or we have some form of, we have a title company. We have these things around us. We have a phone. I said this is a distraction, but this thing is also a blessing because this actually gives you leverage. If I'm limited on time, and this is such a ridiculous one, but it's true. If I need coffee and I'm limited for time, I'll go to my Starbucks app and I will pre-order that coffee because that saves me 10 minutes. Like, we have leverage in things. Like, just start thinking outside the box on how we can utilize that if we're really going to use it. But we're surrounded by leverage constantly, and it's just a matter of how you're gonna improve your time with what we have.
Exactly. So I want to give you an example of how people that don't use leverage, that don't understand it, they let things get distracted. So the biggest thing with agents that are doing between, let's say 0 and 20 deals, is their business goes like this.
Yeah. Right.
That's their business goes like that. Why? Because in most instances, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, they get a deal and they get obsessed with this deal. Right. They've got to call the attorney. We're an attorney state, right? They got to call the attorney. Yeah. They've got to call the title company. They've got to make this call. They got to make that call. The TC, guys, that's called transaction coordinator. You can hire one, believe it, in any state in the country. You can hire someone for a few $100 per transaction. And what that's going to do is that's going to leverage your time where you don't have to worry about making the call because they're going to do it. That's their job. They're going to make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. And that's called leverage. You now don't have to worry about that 30-minute call, that 30-minute time in the morning that screws up your prospecting.
Yeah.
This is what people don't understand. And then what's going to happen is instead of your business doing this, it's going to do this.
Right. Right. They're very much a stop and go. They're stop sign. Right. Green light, and they don't understand that foot needs to remain on the pedal so they can figure out where the next 5 deals are coming from. They focus on the one that's in front of them, and that's you can't do that in this business. That will halt your growth. Halt it.
Hey man, this time has flown. It's just been amazing. We're coming up on an hour, and I want to respect your time. and I want to move forward. So I want to ask you a couple of quick questions before we end. If there was something that you could tell newer agents, stuck agents to get the explosion to start doing more business, what would it be?
I'll give you three things.
Great.
One, quickly, I promise.
No,
quickly.
that's cool.
Okay. One is you have to internalize your story so you can stay committed to your calendar. Like really use your calendar. All of us have an accountability partner. It's in our calendar. So lean in on that and try to find 90 days where you can stay consistent. Two is find a way to limit the distractions and be disciplined with the shiny objects that are in front of us. I know they are glowing. I know they are bright. I guarantee you, if you just get uncomfortable and tell someone I'm not available at this time, but I'm available at 1 o'clock, they will still be there at 1 o'clock. So get uncomfortable in those conversations and asking for the other time. They'll actually respect you more and they'll think you have a demanding calendar, which is good for you. The third is, and I think this is one of the most important things, is your freaking ego. I am not perfect. Leave that thing outside. Come in, be coachable. Failure is the best way to get closer to success. So fail your way to success. Leave your ego outside and be open to the feedback you're getting from those that you respect and you surround yourself with, period. I'm doing it every day. And that is the key to growth. There are people that have been doing it better. And with that, your ego, people get in their own way because you're like, you know what? I can do it better. And I'm going to do it this way. This is more beautified. And do it the way people have had success doing it. Add your own craft to it, but don't change it up and that's where we get lost. And why? Why do that?
Exactly. So guys, this has been an education for the top agent. This has been education for the new agent. It's been education for the coach, for me. And Brian is also, you see it right there, agent and accelerator coach. And, there's a lot of different ways to get in touch with Brian. We've got them on the screen. Brian, is there any other way? Just tell us where the best way to get in touch with you. So we just put it verbally out there.
Follow me. I love pushing tips and tricks and things that I uncover. I'm very much an open book, as you can already tell. So find me, look me up, Brian Evan Danney on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. Would love to connect. And you can also find me on Agent Academy Accelerator Coaching for that opportunity as well. But I love being here.
That's great. I got two more things, man. Again, I can't thank you enough for this. The last question for you is, what can I, Dave Finale, what can I do to support you and help you grow your business?
Yeah, I appreciate that and that thought. I mean, honestly, a way where we can continue just to share these stories and get out there. And I'm learning from you, man. Like, it's just as much as I just poured here, you gave me a lot as well. And I think the more we do that as a unit,
right,
that's what makes us special. So just continue to share those stories. And if, it's just, it's about that ego checking outside, because I know people that can do it a lot better. So
it is. And this is one of the things that, everything we talked about today is the basis of my coaching with Real Estate Skill Builder and stuff, because I want to help people build their business. I want to, I'm interested in people's success. That's what I'm interested in. Right. And if I can help one person or two people, I said it last week, I'm going to say it again. There's this thing called the 80-20 rule, right? Well, that means that 20% of the agents do 80% of the work. That's in real estate. My goal in my business, my coaching business, and my production business is I want to change that to 79-21. Because if I just get 1% more producing, then, we're a better industry. We're better people. So that's my goal in how I'm going to move forward with this. And Brian, last but not least, you said you agreed to come on the broadcast, and you said, do I get a hat? Of course, man. What would the broadcast be without the hat, right? So, man, this is going to come out to you. I want to thank you so much for coming on. Hey, guys, next week, we've got a local New Jersey boy coming on. Peter Contraforas is going to come on. Great team, great group. Has built his business from nothing, as Brian has. And, it's going to be a great broadcast next week as well. Brian, stay on for a minute. And thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week, Friday. It'll be at the regular time at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, guys.
Just stay on for 1 minute for me. And if I got to put my glasses on, because when you're a one-man band, man, you just can't see everything. Thanks so much, man.